Hi, this is Krista at the Secret Yarnery. Today we're making this super great popcorn border on a C2C blanket. I'm using a 5mm hook, same as I did for my blanket. You're also going to need scissors and a darning needle eventually, although a bigger one than this if you're using the same yarn as me. But you use whatever yarn that goes with your blanket. So we are going to join our yarn. We're just going to be working into the spaces of these, like not into the blocks, into the spaces between the blocks. So that keeps our blanket looking so pretty. So put your hook down into one of these spaces. I'm just going into the second space after the corner. Put a loop of your yarn onto your hook. Bring it back and slip stitch with both strands to join. Drop your tail. We'll have to work that in with a needle later. Now into the same spot we're going to make one single crochet. So make one single crochet and chain two, 1 and 2. So now into the next space, don't want to go over my tail. One single crochet, chain 2, next space, one single crochet. So this is what we're doing all the way around, single crocheting into this space, and chaining 2 to get to the new space or the next space. So this is how we're going to work around our entire blanket. So we have a foundation to start building our border on. So just chain 2 and single crochet all the way around. I'll show you what it looks like. So then your blocks are untouched and you just have these little ticks going down into your blanket, which will be the same all the way around regardless of if it's one of your slip stitch sides or your building block sides. So go all the way around doing this. I'll meet you at the corner. So at the corner I've done my single crochet and chain 2 to get to the corner. So now in the corner space, just find 2 strands so it's strong. Do your single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and one more single crochet into that same space, like that, and chain 2 to get to your next space. Single crochet in your next space, and there is your corner. So your corners, you're going to be doing single crochet, chain 3, so you have a little bit of space, and another single crochet, and then just keep going around the edge of your blanket. So I'll meet you when we get back to this beginning side where we join. So that's my last single crochet. So I'll chain 2 and we're just going to slip stitch to join into that stitch, slip stitch, chain 2, 1, 2, 3 actually, chain 3, so that counts as our first double crochet. Now 2 double crochets into each chain 2 space, 1 and 2, and 1 double crochet into the single crochet into that stitch. So that keeps your stitch count proper, 3 stitches per building block. So 2 into the chain 2 space and 1 into the single crochet. So go all the way around your work, making 2 double crochets into the chain, 1 double crochet into the stitch, and I will meet you at the corner to show you how to do your corner. So into the space before the corner, you just do your regular 2 double crochets into the chain 2 space and 1 double crochet into the single crochet stitch itself. Into the corner space, our chain 3, we're doing 2 double crochets and chain 1 and 2 double crochets. So a total of 4 double crochets into that corner space, and also into this, well, into your single crochet, because every single crochet gets a double crochet. So that is your corner. You can see that that goes around. Got another one here. So that is your corner. And I'm just going to zoom here to join. Now at our join, we have our chain 3, which counts as a double crochet, and slip stitch to join. Like that. So there is our join, chain 1, oops, and turn your work. Now we're going to be working back the other way so that our border doesn't curl, like our blanket doesn't flip to one side. It'll be neutral. So our chain 1 is going to count as our first single crochet, and you're going to skip 2 stitches. So you're skipping this stitch, that stitch, you're going to go into the 3rd stitch. To see your stitches, if you have funny yarn like mine, let me show you. Does that help? No. Okay. If you have funny yarn like mine, you can count your stitches here. You can count the posts. 1, 2, and this is the 3rd, and then you can see the top of that one is here. Or you can count your V's at the top if you can see them. 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to go into the 3rd stitch. Okay. So wrap your yarn. We're going to be making 5 double crochets into this stitch. You can do, it depends how big you want your scallops to be. We're basically making scallops, but you would like them to be an odd number. So you can do 5 or you can do 7. So let's do 5 and we'll see if that's what we like. That is 4, so 1 more into the same stitch. I think that looks pretty cute. Now we're going to skip 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and single crochet or slip stitch. I'm going to single crochet, but you can also slip stitch to the 3rd stitch. So the difference between doing a slip stitch and doing a single crochet, a slip stitch pulls it down really far, so you get like a really big curve, or the biggest curve that you could, and a single crochet doesn't bring it all the way down. It has the height of a single crochet. So that's up to you, and in any pattern, of course, you can change that. You can decide what you want to do. So now we're going to go, regardless of how yours works out, you're going to want to do your next shell into that chain 1 space. So if you have to skip a stitch or you have to jump 3 stitches, just do it, because you want your shell to be in the corner of your blanket. So now we're going to do 9 and see how that looks. 1, 2, so 9 double crochets into this chain 1 space. That's 7. Even 7's looking pretty good. But I want it to be extra. So here we're going to put 9. 1. So that's 8, and here is 9. There we go. Yeah, that looks nice. So the reason you want an odd number is so that you always have a center stitch. So 4 on each side with 1 stitch in the center for your next, if you're doing another round or anything, you can see where the top of your shell is going to be. So now skip 2 stitches. These ones you're going to have to kind of see where your stitches are, pull them back and stuff, because we did put a lot of stitches in there. So there's 1, 2, and 3. This is our 3rd stitch here. So go into the top of that and do a single crochet or a slip stitch depending on what you're doing. I'm doing single crochets.
So there's our side shell. So we'll just do a couple more on the side so you can see the pattern.
1, 2 into the third, 5 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Skip 2 stitches, single crochet or slip stitch, whatever you're doing, into the third.
So keep going like that all the way around.
Single crochet, skip 2 stitches, 5 double crochets into 1 stitch, skip 2 stitches, single crochet into the third, skip 2 stitches, 5 double crochets into the third. All the way around,
And I'll meet you when we get back here.
so I've gone all the way around, and now I'm back to here. And I need 6 stitches. Well, I need 5 really, but I need 6 to make my next shell. 4, 5, and I have to pin this one down. So basically, I am going to make this one, instead of skipping 2, you just kind of wing it, which I know makes some crocheters crazy, but so I'm just going to only skip 1 stitch here instead of 2. And now I'm going to make a shell in the middle here. So I think I'll skip 2 stitches. I'll go into the third and I'll make a shell here. Because I don't want to do my correction right where I do my join. I want to correct a little bit before the join. Hopefully so the join is not super obvious and my correction is not super obvious. 4 and 5. And now I'm just going to slip stitch to join into that stitch over here. So this guy where I started, I guess it's my chain 1, where I joined and got up. So just slip stitch, so I'm not doing a single crochet, and chain 1, and you can see,
Oh, it's very big, isn't it?
I'll get that out of the way, but you can see that you can't really tell
That I fudged my stitches a little bit.
So that's this round, and the next round we're going to do, you can decide if you're changing yarn color back to your original color or you're going to do the final round in your trim color. Up to you. Let me show you what I'm talking about.
So these are shells I made with 7
double crochets, and I slip stitched to join instead of single crochet, so it's a lot more pointy, and then I put popcorns on the top.
So it looks like that on one side, which I think is really cute. So I guess that's the top side.
And then on the back side it also looks really cute.
So it's not like a wrong side. So I'm going to be doing these popcorns on here, and I think I'm going to go back to the cream color. So just to like
Accent it more. But if you want to keep going and make a chunkier border with this color, absolutely fine. So I'm just going to cut my yarn. I've already chained 1, so now I'm just going to pull up and get that loop back on my hook. And I'm just going to pull it up and out and then pull it down to secure. So this one I'm going to have to sew in later. So I'm going back to my center color, this cream, and you're going to join your yarn in one of these valleys into the single crochet. Put a long loop of yarn on your hook, long enough to sew in with a needle, and bring it back through and slip stitch with both strands to join. Drop your tail and chain 2. 1 and 2. So because of how we joined, that looks like a chain. So if you join your yarn in a different way, do a chain 3. Wrap your yarn into the top of your shell, or into the third double crochet of your shell. You're going to make 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Make your loop a little bit bigger. Take your hook out. Put your hook into the first double crochet that you made and put your loop back on your hook. Shrink it down and drag it through that first stitch. Chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Now slip stitch into that single crochet to hold it down and chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Wrap your yarn. Now you're making another popcorn stitch at the top of this shell. So into the third double crochet, make 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Make your loop bigger. Take your hook out. Put your hook into the top of that first double crochet. Put your loop back on your hook and shrink it down and drag it through that first stitch. Chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Slip stitch into the top of the single crochet and chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. So you can see
Our little popcorns are super cute.
just at the edge of the blanket. They're so adorable. So depending on your yarn, I'm doing a chain 3 for my other blanket, my first one. I did a chain 4. So do however works best for your yarn. Try it out. But chain 4 was too loopy with this yarn. So the chain 3, I really like how that one looks. But you just want it to
Look nice on both sides. So looks nice on both sides. You don't want your chains to be hanging up. Like your chains are not, if your chains look like that, they're too long. You want them to be down and behaving themselves. So keep going around your blanket into every valley. Into your valleys, you are doing
Single slip stitch.
so slip stitch into the valleys, popcorn onto the mountains.
All the way around. And I'll just get to this corner here.
So I love those. You just want to like squish them. Ding, 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 ding. They're so great. So anyway, that's the back side. And that's the front side, technically. And we're at the corner. Now into the corner, or to get to your corner, we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or one more chain than you have done for your other ones. And let's try doing treble crochets. You can do the same popcorn you've always been doing. I just want my corners to have a bit of a tassel, not a tassel, I want a popcorn, like I just want it to be bigger in the corners. So we'll do treble crochets. And instead of doing 5, we are going to do 7. So we'll do a big treble crochet popcorn in the 4 corners. So there's our 5. Here's 6. And try to get all of your stitches, a lot of stitches, but just get them all side by side. So when you're going in right now to wrap your yarn, make sure your yarn is to the side beside your other stitches, and that'll keep it behaving itself. So there is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Make a bit of a bigger loop, take your hook out, put it into your first treble crochet, grab your loop, shrink it down, and pull it through that first stitch and chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that made one big, like a granddaddy popcorn on the corner. So turn your work and slip stitch into that single crochet to pin it down. So you can see, hopefully, how that's looking.
It's a nice big squishy one in the corner. So when it's all folded up, you'll be able to, like,
I think it'll just look really cute when it's all folded up. And that's the back side. So
cute. So now keep going. Now you do your chain threes if you're using yarn like mine, or your yarn behaves like my yarn. And 5 double crochets into each mountain for a popcorn stitch, and slip stitch into the valley to pin it down. So now get to where we're to the end of this row, and I will show you how to join. So I've gone all the way around my blanket and done my last popcorn and my chain 3. Now I'm just going to slip stitch to join. I'm going to slip stitch on the other side of where we joined. So I'm just going to go in here, just other side there, so that it can also be flat. I'm just slip stitching like that and chaining 1 to secure my yarn. Now I'll cut my yarn.
I leave a long tail for chenille
because it kind of falls apart when you sew it in, so keep that in mind if you're using chenille. And then just pull your hook up
and your yarn out. Boop.
Pull it down to secure. And we'll have to sew in those ends.
And now your popcorns, you'll see some of them that you're doing, they'll look like that. And that just means you have to give them a little rub and they'll pop up just perfectly. So they're all on the right side of your blanket. So this is how much yarn I have left from my ball, from just doing my popcorns, which is good. I used, I think, 16 balls of chenille. It's a big blanket though, for the white, and 2.5 balls of this blue color.
Anyway, irrelevant.
Let me try to fold it here nicely for you.
Oh, I love it a lot.
So there is our super cute border. We have the bigger pom-poms. We have the bigger popcorns on the corners and fabulous ones all along the edges. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Oh, look at those ends. If you did, please like and subscribe, share with your friends, and thanks so much for watching. Stay hooked.